We just witnessed his impact on the U.S. election, which earned him a role in the upcoming Trump administration. Now, the Tesla CEO, X owner, and SpaceX founder has his sights set across the pond on British politics. NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley joins us live from London to explain. Matt, what is Elon Musk up to now?
Yeah, well, Jonathan, obviously he's been spending a lot of time trolling, and not just political figures in the United States, but even MSNBC, as I know you've been paying attention to over the past week or two. But, you know, we've just been seeing this worldwide. And, of course, he's buoyed by his recent victory, propping up Donald Trump and helping him win the election just earlier this month. Now we're seeing that Elon Musk's trolling knows no bounds and no borders. Lately, he's been turning his ire here at the Labour, the sort of center-left government here in Britain, particularly its Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. Now, he's been tweeting a lot over the past year against Keir Starmer and against the Labour government, but it really has picked up a lot over just the past couple of days. And I want to show you on Sunday his tweet. I don't know if we're calling it tweet on X, a platform that he owns. He wrote, "The people of Britain have had enough of a tyrannical police state." And you can see there he was tweeting along with a survey, a petition that the government would be obliged to take up, or at least the parliament would be obliged to discuss after it reaches a certain number of signatories. And this is a petition calling for a rerun of the elections that brought Keir Starmer to power in an overwhelming majority just as recently as last July. Now, that petition, which had 1 million signatories when Elon Musk retweeted that, it now has 2 million and climbing. So it looks like it's at least going to have to be maybe discussed by the parliament as part of those rules. The day before that, he had tweeted that the voice of the people is a great antidote, showing the declining popularity levels for Keir Starmer, whose government, while it was, again, elected to an overwhelming majority back in July, has been facing quite a few problems and quite a few things that have caused it to become unpopular. But Musk then also went a step further and tweeted a documentary by a very famous far-right activist here in Britain, whose name our audience may or may not know. His name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, also known here popularly as Tommy Robinson. Now, he was just sentenced, he's a couple of months in, to an 18-month prison sentence for contempt of court for his role in defaming a child, an adolescent Syrian refugee back several years ago. Now, Tommy Robinson admitted guilt in this case, but his time in prison, his sentence has still been seen as very controversial among the far right here in Britain and even in the United States, where he's a well-known name in far right circles. Now, what did 10 Downing Street say in response to all of this hazing over the past couple of days? Well, almost nothing. We heard from Keir Starmer from 10 Downing saying that they're not surprised that the people of Britain want another election, even though we just had one here back in July, very recently. So actually, the Prime Minister has come into some criticism from the left-wing politicians here who say that Keir needs to stand up to Elon Musk. And this really just goes to show what has changed. Well, Elon Musk is now very much not in power per se, but he is a very close confidant of incoming President Donald Trump, who just last night, as you mentioned earlier in the program, had said he wants to impose 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada unless they rein in drug imports and other issues, and something like 35% on China unless they do the same thing. Now, he hasn't yet swung his knife at Europe and a lot of other countries. Officially, he's not in office yet, but there's a lot of worries here in the UK and throughout Europe that Donald Trump could start to levy very, very heavy tariffs on countries that he does not like. And so having a Keir Starmer who is out of the White House, who's considered not a friend of Elon Musk, the president's closest confidant by far, could be seen by many people here as very dangerous. But this isn't the first time that we've been seeing all this from Elon Musk. He's been attacking Keir Starmer for the better part of the past year, and governments here in Europe. Just a couple of months ago, when there were race riots here in Britain, we heard from Elon Musk. He tweeted out that civil war is inevitable here in Britain. And this was thanks to right-wing protesters who came out due to misinformation online about the identity of a child murderer who killed 3 young girls in the town of Southport at a dance event. And this has been causing huge protests, at least a couple of months ago, among the right here. And essentially, Elon Musk was saying that given the amount of immigration here, that civil war is inevitable. But if you go back a year, there were 4 tweets where Elon Musk had been saying that civil war is inevitable throughout Europe. So this calling of a civil war is one of Musk's favorite games. Jonathan?
NBC's Matt Bradley reporting live from London. Matt, thank you very much. And Susan, it's worth a moment just to take time and perspective on just the incredible influence that Elon Musk has. We've never really seen this before. A private citizen, a billionaire many times over, spending the amount of money he did in the Trump campaign, taking over in many ways, its get out the vote operations, being lockstep with Trump, down the stretch, basically moving into Mar-a-Lago, getting some sort of quasi-government post, having the president's ear, and now potentially trying to influence foreign policy.
It's amazing. Presidents have had best friends before, but they've never had a best friend like Elon Musk, given such a central role. And without the accountability of an appointment, he is, in fact, I think more powerful because he's not in the cabinet, because he's not on the White House staff. He is a free agent who has the president's ear. And it's got to be perplexing. We just heard that Tim Downing is being pretty quiet about responding to Elon Musk. They're probably figuring out what in the world to say, because in August, when he began to make these very critical statements of the prime minister, the Labour government kind of dismissed him. And now maybe they're figuring that is no longer an option if he's a figure that's going to have real power in the new White House.
All right. Well,